Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Symphony. Symphony Entertainment, Gaming, and Arts is a gaming company that focuses on horror systems, indie games, organic content, and player agency to bring a symphonic approach to horror role-playing. I'm your host, Carl, and this afternoon we're going to be playing The Last Journey Home for Call of Cthulhu, written by me. It's an introductory adventure I wrote to teach myself Call of Cthulhu, focused on a lost bomber during World War II. We have only one announcement tonight. Symphony Entertainment has a Patreon. If you like this content and would like to help us create more, please back the Symphony on Patreon. You can check that out at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. Content warnings have been discussed with the cast and crew. The X card is in play. X's can be sent via private message with no judgment passed and no questions asked. We'll also be using the green, yellow, red traffic light method, which can be called for by any cast member at any time. So without further ado, let's unveil the cast. Cast members, please introduce yourselves. Tell us where people can find you and some of the things you do. And we'll start with Heather.
Hi, everybody. I am Heather Ashcraft, otherwise known as ValyGirl Heather on the socials. I am currently playing flight engineer Liam O'Daly. I am a TTRPG and live action creator, writer, producer, and of course, live action actual actor, which I am very lucky to be here and very grateful to that Carl decided that I could be the lone female of the group, but I'm very excited. I am generally found on most of the socials, all the ones except the one that is with the singular X, because we just don't do that dumpster fire. But you can find me pretty much on Discord, Facebook, especially Discord. That's my main one. I currently am writing a number of the works that will hopefully be coming out in the next few months. And I'm just going to move on from there because I'm still gathering my thoughts.
Okay. Matt.
And hello, hi to all the Symphony fans and backers and everybody. It's been a while since I've been here, and so glad to be back and streaming again with this amazing crew and everybody that the Symphony brings. My name is Matt Crouch, and you can find me on the Discords as Momentary NPC. You can also probably find me on various other almost legacy social media websites, let's call them these days, as Moments Pause or a few other things of that nature. The day job is we'll just skip that for the time being. It's a fun beast, but the less said the better, because we're here for fun, and that's no fun at all. I have been happily working with the Symphony now and doing some streams for the last couple of years, and thanks to the incredibly encouraging work that the Symphony does and how great they are with everybody, I have been working on writing my first TTRPG adventure, and am going to be starting playtesting on that this coming weekend. And so thanks to what an incredible crew of people that everybody here is doing, and fully encourage anybody, if you're nervous about it, take that step, because the people on the Symphony are there for you. And I will pass my baton at this point, and I'll be playing Flight Officer Arthur Cook for this one.
Jayson.
Hello, everybody, and it's great to be back with Symphony once again since my little stint with Alone Against the Static back in June time. So I have now gone full-time with TTRPG, writing, freelancing, editing, etc., as well as podcast editing, mixing, and mastering. So feel free to hit me up if you want some of my services. Aside from that, we have got some amazing stuff coming up with a new podcast done by myself and one of the other members of Stars Arise, since that's come to an end. We also have the wonderful Heather. Hopefully she's down here, or maybe she's over here. I don't know where I am on the screen. Joining us for that. I'm also in the midst of writing a few things, including Bride of Pendle, which is a bit of a magnum opus / baby love child thing, which has been in the works for many years, and many of you know about it. But Matt is going to be doing some playtesting of that hopefully very soon. So hopefully that's also going to be coming out in the next few months, finally. Yes. Anyway, so I am method acting in that I have caught the sun, especially for my character, Flight Lieutenant Jack Donovan, who is perched up in the mid-gunner rig. So, of course, he gets a lot of sun all the time, but it's also freezing. It's that kind of horrible, just mix of extreme temperatures, and it's not very fun. But he is doing it for a very good reason because he's seeking redemption after escaping from a life of crime, illicit activities, gangs, all sorts of nasty stuff. So he's joined the RAF for that reason. And yeah, that's me.
Evan.
Hi, I'm Evan Perlman. I have been on with Symphony a few times before, have run things including In Strange Seas, which is a Regency set Cthulhu meets Jack Aubrey, Stephen Maturin, Patrick O'Brien novels, and a number of other things. I am on Blue Sky and in the Symphony Discord. I also would like to hype the upcoming Miskatonic Repository Con, where you can play games and be part of panels and workshops with myself, with Heinrich Moore, with Leslie Horn, XP Lovecat, Al Smith, and other people that I'm going to forget, so I'm going to stop listing names. I have a number of scenarios and other kind of useful, fun tools out on DriveThruRPG. I have many more things in the pipeline, including collaborations with Rena Henze and Matt Tracy, and Heinrich and Newman and other people. I say them all now to invoke them, to give them a spirit of uplift and energy. So you should go seek them out and give them your energy and possibly money as well. If it's okay, I'm going to put the link to the thing, to the thank you. That's it. To the MRCon is in there. If you haven't signed up, player signups are open now. There are games that are still available, and there's time to add more if need be, I think. And I think that's it. I'm going to stop. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks, everyone. And I'm Carl. I can be found usually haunting the Symphony Discord. I tend to make a lot of the digital assets that go along with it. And I'm kind of part of the back-end production crew helping things run as smoothly as they run on Symphony. So I'm looking forward to having this good crew, and I think we're just going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to begin kind of in the middle of things. You are on board your Lancaster. You've taken off several hours ago, heading towards your target destination. Long hours have passed in the darkened sky as the miles race by below. The cold and feeling of isolation has been slowly growing, as constant as the sound of the engines that are droning alongside dozens of other planes as your squadron cuts through the clouds towards Rotterdam and its E-boats sleeping in their unsuspecting berths. A trickle of rapidly pooling sweat rolls down the back of your neck and alerts you a half second before the greenish-yellow flash and repetitive whomp, whomp, whomp noise of flak shells beginning to burst around the squadron begins. Adrenaline floods your system, and your hands shake as they fly over the controls in front of you. You take a steadying breath as you approach the target to start your bombing run. Let's see. Daniel Lloyd, which one is that's Jayson? Oh no, Evan, you're
That's
playing.
me. Yeah.
Okay. You start angling the aircraft in along the angle the navigator took. There's a little bit of turbulence and a bit of difficulty on the way in. There's a very little bit of the navigator's path exposed you a little bit to some of the flak batteries below. There's a little bit of chip damage that takes place on the left wing. And you all have a brief moment where you feel like you have to duck as you hear metal ringing off of the interior of your ship, but nobody cries out in alarm. Your flight leader, and you're starting to reach the edge of the city. All almost on cue, searchlight beams start stabbing up from the darkness below, like blind eyes searching through the dark to try and reach out for you. I would like a piloting check to try and steer clear of those.
Absolutely.
As
I
you
have.
go.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, just as you're entering the city limits.
So I have a piloting score of 75, lucky for you all. And what I'm rolling on that is an 89. Get fucked. Jesus Christ.
Would you like to push that roll?
Oh, that's so much more fun than spending luck. Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
You
Guys,
could
this is gonna be
spend luck
short.
as well.
This is gonna be great. Yeah, I would like to push. Do you want to tell me how I push, or do you want me to tell you?
No, please. You go ahead.
Okay. So what I'm trying to do is to get through the spotlights, get through the flag, and normally I do that sort of mechanically with my piloting skills. But what I'm going to do in this case is use my command. I'm going to swap over to a command skill, and I'm going to think about how I can sort of direct the situation. Coming from, as pilot, my expectation of myself is that I'm always in control, and that's now how I'm trying to think of this as more of a tactical thing and less of a push this lever, go here. Something, all right, they're trying to get here, I'm trying to get here. I am going to sort of urge our bomber forward in a logical way.
Okay, cool. So flying more by analytics and planning than by instinct.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
These-
A more
these-
civilized way to fly.
Yeah, yes, of
Yeah.
course.
And
Go-
rolling against that 70, we come up with an 85. Fucking shit.
All right. Would you like to spend luck?
Can I? Yes, please.
If you'd like.
Yes, please. That'll take me
Okay.
down to 30 luck.
As the plane probably dips in jars as Commander Lloyd tries desperately to figure out how the heck to fly, because obviously he didn't have enough coffee this morning. I think Liam will be very quietly, the crew may actually hear just over the din snippets of the Lord's Prayer, which Liam doesn't even realize that is coming out of his mouth. It's more of a stimming kind of thing, praying that Daniel can get his shit together and not make this a very, very short trip.
Yeah.
Well-
I don't know if pilots of this air, if we usually have masks on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So then he's gonna look down in one of his pockets is his pipe. And he starts to reach for it and realizes he won't be able to jam it into his mouth, which he would normally do for comfort. And so he just kind of like white knuckles on the controls and tries very hard not to look at anyone or anything except what he's doing.
Yeah, just so for reference, airplanes in this era, they usually flew at like 25 to 30,000 feet, and
Okay.
they were not heated. So everybody's wearing all sorts of heavy jackets, and the air up there is too thin, and they're like some of the sides of the planes are usually open. So
Okay.
you have an oxygen mask over you. You have usually goggles, and you actually have radio gear on an internal link with the plane. So it's an incredibly isolating experience as you sit there knowing that, Liam is 2 feet behind you, but you can't talk to him unless you use the equipment that you have.
Sir, I didn't see any fighters on the radar. We're taking evasive action.
Nothing to worry about, lads. Just
So-
just a bit of bump.
So so Daniel, you're able to guide the ship through the storm, as it were, but you do have a couple of harrowing moments. This is the part in the movie where, as you're flying along, you'd get flashes of the other crew members being lit up like full with searchlights for a second or two before you're steering out of the way. But with the exception of a couple of close calls of flak showing up just behind where you used to be, you managed to get out of the way. Let's see. Jack. Would you please give me a spot hidden roll?
Oh, I was just hoping that you'd tell me that right now when I've been blinded by lights. God damn it, Lloyd. Okay, so 75%. Hopefully I'll be all right, even with the blinding. Yes, I am bang on a hard success at 38%.
Nice. Okay. So you're doing your job, even though the plane is banking left and right and ascending and descending. One of your most important jobs is not even necessarily to cover your plane, but to cover the other planes in your squadron, because that's the only way large scale bombing operations can be effective. You're sort of panning over and you see one of the other airframes, the one marked R, and everyone, it's the one assigned to new, so it's the R for rookies. You can see like slicing through the clouds, almost like a pair of sharks, a pair of Me-110s, a pair of twin engine German night fighters, uh, just barely parting the clouds. And one of them is trying to angle up under it. The way they would set some of these up is they had incredibly good radar equipment in the plane itself. And a lot of the times they were able to move very quietly into position. They simply had a quad, a series of 4 10-millimeter cannons pointing directly upward. So their move would be to fly right underneath the plane and just cut it in half. And it seems like the pair of them are trying to get towards the rookies. But you are in a position where you might be able to have a shot. If you would like to give me a gunnery roll with a plus 10% for hitting that hard difficult.
Ooh, okay. So gunnery, where is my gunnery? Oh, wow, okay, so I can get 80 or under 80 with this. So okay, so polar opposite of Evan's roll so far, I'm afraid to say. Well, not really. That's a 5 from me.
Oh, nice. Okay. The result of that is going to be you're actually going to be able to destroy one and drive one off. So you go ahead. I'm going to give you narration. You go ahead and describe what's going on.
Okay, so I still mention something over the radio to Lloyd and to the others just so they can get prepared if there are any more, for example, coming behind or underneath. But I quite simply say, they're onto the rookies, and just even before I finish saying it, I'm already with my guns, and yet take one out, it goes flying off with a little bit of a flare of flame, and then the other one, I imagine it nearly gets into an obstacle by this point, so it has to weave and go right out of the way, and then it's off target. It can't turn around enough to get back to them.
Okay, yeah, and so it's going to be limping away, chased away by a couple other planes in the squadron, sending encouraging bursts of machine gun fire to drive it farther away. Very nice shooting. However, like as you're watching, Arthur, you can tell that the rookies also noticed it and are like the plane is starting to move a little bit erratically. Arthur, you're getting a panicked call from the rookies saying, what's happening? What's happening? Why are you shooting at us?
It was Messerschmitts, ME-10s, ME-110s. They came up from underneath.
Oh, oh. They are. He's going to continue repeating. He's just like he's not. He's in a panic spiral. He's trying to pull himself out of it, but he's not really hearing you. If you, I'd like you to make a. You can go with command or radio operation. Your choice.
Well, I got a slightly better chance on radio operation, but if you so let's give that a whirl there. And that is a 71 under 75, so regular success.
Nice. Okay. So it'll take you a minute or two, but you'll be able to talk them down. How would your character approach that?
Probably, I mean, with Arthur's relatively straightforward, but he's sort of a calm presence. He's not really big and showy, and so he's probably just trying to take a very calm tone, and reminding him that this is now take it easy. We have a duty. You're going to be fine. This is what we train for. This is what we do. This is why we have a flight. This is why we have other planes looking out for us. You're going to be fine. Hold steady. That's your job. Hold steady. We put the bombs where they need to be, and then we'll go.
You can hear the calm kind of like seeping into his voice finally. You realize that he's finally hearing you. He goes, "Of course, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir." And he'll shut the radio set off, but you could sort of look out the window. You could see that the plane is stabilized. They've gotten back in formation. And seems like things are moving a bit more smoothly. You all hear a bark of alarm from Deepak, your tail cunner. Right before you hear the tail gun open up. Seems like another ME-110 got close. There's a couple of stitching that flies across the couple of cannon rounds come across the wings. One of them punches through the hull, leaving a little bit of a whistling noise. But again, seems like he got it just in time. You're now approaching the target. You've been over the city for a couple of minutes, and you can hear a whirring noise as the bomb bay doors start to open beneath you. But then Liam, you've spent hours upon hours upon hours in this plane and in other similar airframes learning the ins and outs of it. You hear like the smooth hydraulics going until like on one side they keep going, and on another side of the Bombay doors you hear like a chunk 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 and a grinding noise that doesn't sound right.
No.
And you can look through. They had a very small like 6-inch by 6-inch window, and you can see that the left Bombay door has only opened about a quarter of the way, which is a problem if you're going to start dropping bombs. There's 2 or 3 small access points that you can actually snake your hands into and try and repair that. I would like a mechanical repair roll, please.
Okay. Yep, because I would rather not have our plane blown up by our own bombs, if at all possible. That is a 75 of 75.
Okay. That is a success. Okay, so that's going to do it, but because that's so marginal. I like the dramatic tension of that. How do you go about repairing it, and why does it take you till just a second or two before the bombardier actually drops the bombs?
So it seems that within the maintenance team was going over and making sure that everything was working right before we all went up on our bombing run. Somebody left behind a screw that was kind of out of place. It didn't quite go in right, and they forced it because time was short. So at some point this screw came just a little out of position, and that's jamming this whole thing up. So it's going to take time for me to figure out, especially since I only have such a very small little space to work in and can only maneuver my hands so well, what is going on, and then realizing that because I can't access it at just the right angle to get this thing out, with my tools, I'm going to basically force the issue after a certain point when I realize that if I don't get this thing open, where that bomb is not going anywhere and it's going to sit there and it's going to go boom with us in our own plane. So I think I finally just take an old hammer to it and just pound the crap out of it until I can actually get the damn blue screw out of it. The entire time I am both, again, just there is a string of prayer that is coming out of my mouth without me even realizing it, interjecting with a string of profanity, and exactly what I'm going to do to the mechanic that was supposed to fix this, because damn it, they never let anybody else touch my plane again. But at the last minute, I get one really good wallop down and it breaks that screw loose and it allows the mechanics to free up and work properly.
Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, you perform very expert percussive maintenance, along with lots of different Irish blessings that I'm sure your mother would be horrified to hear you uttering. But you will, with the last
Blessings and curses at the same time.
yeah, with the last stroke of the hammer,
The blessing.
the bomb bay door will fall open, and just as you hear from your bomb aimer, bombs away, as you can see them through the window, they start to drop onto the darkened city below. There's a little bit of a rocking as the weight sort of unevenly distributes for a couple of seconds as they fall away. And there's again a little bit of peppering from flak and anti-aircraft fire below, but you're dropping it away. That finishes. The bomb bay doors start to close. And Daniel, you accelerate and start pulling up, heading up into the clouds. This is you go that way for a couple of seconds. You can see the aircraft in your squadron that were following you are doing the same thing. You've done a couple of missions together as a crew before, but this is going a little differently. Usually after a bomb drop, the fighters and the flak have a tendency to fall away or retarget the planes that have not dropped their bombs yet, or simply rallying their resources to more important target. This time, as you push up into the clouds, you can see two whole squadrons of night fighters making their way towards the city, and the flak is intensifying on your way out of the city. Usually their mission is one of protection or deflection, but something about it tonight feels like their mission is more vengeance than anything else. Can you give me a sanity check, please?
Huh, I can. All right. If I can find it. Yeah, I can. Okay. That is 26 out of 55.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're okay, but it takes you a couple of seconds to react to this. And as you do, you can see multiple aircraft lighting up small patches of the night sky as their engines catch light, with the remains of petrol in their tanks being pierced by cannon fire, turning them into huge orange fireballs against the night sky. You've got a rush of adrenaline flooding through you, and your fight or flight is kicking in. What would your action be? What would your reaction be?
Yeah, so he clamps down on his outward emotion. This is something that's been trained into him for good or ill. since he was very small. You can tell, I think you've all flown with me before, you can tell because the sweat is breaking out all around here. But just kind of narrating is, oh, Jerry's got a bit of a bee in his bonnet tonight. And sort of narrating a little bit faster and a little bit louder, but really sort of clamping down and not, trying not to show panic, just kind of talking through it at increasing speed.
Okay, gotcha. Um, since you're in control of the aircraft, how would you like to try and get out of that situation?
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
One of the things that you like a lot of the times after a bomb run, aircraft will take their own individual ways back. It's usually still safer to stick with the squadron, but this again, something's very different about tonight, and there's a lot more firepower being directed at the squadron that's already dropped their load.
Okay. So there's two groups of fighters, right? Going after us. Not to make this a tactics game, but and members of the squadron are already getting lit up.
Yeah.
Okay. Commander Lloyd's motto is when in doubt, go up.
Okay.
And there's considerable doubt. And so we go up.
Okay.
Gonna try and climb up and out of it and see if they can follow me or not.
Okay. Are you gonna try and take a couple of them with you? Like to bait them into the clouds?
Sure.
Okay.
That seems useful.
Go ahead and give me a command roll. Either command or piloting, your choice.
I guess just given my luck so far, I'll go back to piloting, but I don't know if those extra 5 points are going to do me any good. A 59, I'm good either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll be able to pull up into, so there's cloud banks that are higher up that you can start pulling up into. A trio of the night fighters is going to notice you and start angling towards you, but you've pulled off a good chunk of a squadron from the rest of the flight. And you start piloting through the clouds, dealing with the turbulence and things like that. You're getting little bits of splashes of water kind of coming up on you because of the holes in the fuselage. The three of you who are not piloting, can you make spot hidden rolls, please?
Oh my God.
Yes. Regular pass, I can spend luck to make it a hard.
No
I
need.
I did get a hard success, as
Oh.
miserable as my spot hidden is. That's an
Nice.
09 under 25.
Oh, Heather, I can't hear you.
I am going to spend 9 luck so that I can make that a regular success.
Cool. Okay.
Because why not? Why hang on to it?
So hard success, regular success. So okay. So Jack, you are again sweeping the sky. You can see the three planes, the three night fighters coming in on you. You join with the tail gunner to start encouraging them to go away. Meanwhile, Arthur and Liam, Liam, you can see that there's like out in the clouds, there's some electrical activity. It seems like it's, the clouds themselves are heading towards like thunderstorm territory. You're getting the occasional cloud burst and that sort of thing. Arthur, you got a hard success, right? You are looking out because you have access to the Astrodome, which is one of the only places on the ship that you can sort of see up. You're looking out and you can see out like over the wing. There's some sort of odd effect. There's like a luminous blue it almost looks liquid, like wrapping itself around your wings, as a bolt of lightning hits your plane.
Oh.
You all, I need a sanity check from all of you, please.
Oh, here we
There.
go.
Oh,
Here we go.
36
Oh,
under 40.
fantastic.
Nice.
That's a
Yes,
98.
73. Oh, sorry. Yeah. You go first.
Yeah, 98. To reiterate, that is one off a fumble. It's not quite a fumble, but
Yup.
if you want to round up, then that's fine.
That is a 49 under 55.
Okay. So if you succeeded on this, you take 1 point. If you failed, you take 3 points.
Yay.
You all have a moment where, like, you have you ever had one of those moments where every piece of your equilibrium just shifts and feels like it's completely off? Like your inner ear, your stomach, your vision, everything like that. Like imagine that for a half second, all of that just inverts and flips. You have a complete moment of disorientation, before you're back, you're flying through the clouds again. But there's two things that are different. One, um, Jack, you can see that the night fighters that were following you, they're not there anymore. Two, it doesn't sound right. Like even in plane traveling alone, you'll have things echo off of the clouds and things like that. But this sounds almost like you're flying through like cotton. It's absorbing so much of the ambient engine noises. In fact, as you realize you realize that you can hear your heartbeat in your ears more than you can actually hear like the noises of the plane.
Okay. I think because of the 3 sanity loss, what I'll say is that the way that the lightning bolt came through the plane was right over my little dome. So I got the blinding flash, I got the deafening crack. I could even feel the heat coming off it. So for a few minutes he's got his head in his hands a bit and just breathing heavily, sweating, and it's sort of turning to icicles a little bit from the cold. When he eventually starts looking around again, he's a bit more relieved than anything that the fighters have gone. And at the moment, whilst it's strange the way that his sound is so obscured, the fact that a massive lightning bolt just cracked very, very close to him, he's going to assume he's been deafened partially.
Okay.
So he's going to say probably a bit more loudly than usual because, again, he can't hear very well. Enemies lost. I'm hoping that's a good thing.
Nice. Responses from the crew. He's very much yelling into the receiver.
And as happens, I think, with Daniel at moments of stress, his mouth is somewhat disconnected from his brain. And he says in an overly jolly way, he's like, well, that's all right then. But in his head, he's thinking of, and he's not sure why he's thinking of this, but he's thinking of this other pilot that he knew, Brian Lane, a couple of years ago was flying over the North Sea, an RAF pilot, and just vanished. And I think, having had the strange call with the lightning just now and having been prepped to take on some somewhat unusual thoughts, he's already there.
Okay. Cool. You reactions from Liam and Arthur.
Liam will be first. I think the first reaction is, thank God we made it out of that alive, and we are still alive, and we are still going. Quickly followed by a concern. and a worry, that little gnawing, that not, that knot that gnaws at you from internally, that lets you know on a physical level, like something is not right before the head finally catches up. Liam will start, as he usually does, in terms of trying to find that calm. We'll start checking everything. We'll start looking at the gauges. We'll start making sure that everything is as it, is everything reading correctly? All the, checking the, making sure that there's nothing out of place, really starting to listen as well as feel, because from an engineer, how that plane that you're on feels in flight. Does everything feel right? As are the switches in place? Are the lights that should be lighting up, and the ones that should not be lighting up? Just starts going over every detail without really thinking about it. And there's a lot of switches and gauges, so
Yes, there are.
this is going to take a little bit of time, but this is where his comfort is. When something feels completely off, he goes to doing this. And does the plane feel like it's supposed to feel? Does it sound like it is supposed to sound?
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
Oh, cool. So, go ahead and make me a, let's see, we'll go with operate heavy machinery.
Okay.
As you're kind of checking it, or actually, no, electrical repair or mechanical repair rather.
Okay,
So,
well that is a 20 on the
ooh,
die. So that is a hard success. And in fact, I will actually go ahead, because why not? We're only here for a few short hours. I am actually going to spend 8 points of luck and make that an extreme, because
oh,
Liam is really going to tune in to, like, the crew becomes secondary, almost tertiary, to the mechanics, to the wiring, and all of these little bits and pieces that make up their lives, as well as if something is off in any way, like something doesn't feel right, there's going to be that part remembering back to some of the things that he's read about, some of the things that he came across before he got into the military. So that's very important. So we're going to go extreme success on that.
okay. So you go through this ritual that you've done dozens, if not hundreds of times. You go through the whole ritual. The plane is fine, relatively speaking. So the plane is operating as it should. There's a couple of small problems with it, like the left aileron is sluggish. You're not getting the response you think you should from the tail, and you're not able to get a read on one of the wing gauges. Those are relatively minor problems. Like, you'd want to fix them sooner rather than later, but in general, they're not too much of a problem. Everything is working well enough that you feel confident in making this leap. It's not the plane that's wrong, it's sound and how it's carrying through the air. And there's, what would you have read or seen in your background that would let you make that connection? Like, you're obviously, I think I wrote the character very much as a person of faith, but
Yes.
what would they personally have seen?
For Liam, because he comes from such a religious background, where there is extreme good in what is professed in the churches, there is also the extreme evil. You
Mhm.
know, there is there is hell. There are the depravities and uh the just tearing apart of the soul. Those creatures and entities and beings just on almost on a physical level that are coming for the souls of humanity. On top of that, you know, how the devil delights in the fear and horrors and so it's like for all the goodness of heaven, there's also the horrors of hell, and that those horrors come through various ways. So if when they say the devil's in the details, I think especially from an engineer's point of view, that is extremely true. So if something is off, something is out of the, you know, off and out of the ordinary, for him, instead of going to, okay, something's off, I don't know what's going on. For him, it's like, dear God, you know, be with us and help us. But I know the devil is out to get us, and it's death is the easiest way out. So, of course, the head goes into all of these potential, like what is out there, what demons or devils are after us now, to try to find ways to not just to attack us, I guess is the best way to do it.
Gotcha.
So he goes as he goes through the ritual and he realizes everything's working basically as intended. That means it's something else. And as that something else is becomes more and more apparent, he's going to go back into those kind of darker places that he found when he was reading through things in the seminary.
Nice. Cool. Very nice. So that'll take you a little while, obviously, to go through that whole thing. Arthur.
Yeah.
What how are you reacting to this odd sensation?
Well, I mean, the first reaction from Arthur is a quick radio check on everyone and asking if anyone's injured. If he's a backup first aid guy, and so if he's got to be able to do that, he's just doing a quick, you know, any injuries, chaps, kind of thing. And then the sound is probably affecting him in a quick little way that he's not quite noticing. Again, he's by the electricals, and so one of his jobs is to check the electricals and make sure everything's working. We've just been hit by a lightning bolt, and so that's going to be something he's looking and making sure that everything is working. And so he's probably doing a quick check on that. At the same time, he's probably he sees he probably has his right glove off. It might be a little bit cold, but subconsciously, he's not even noticing he's doing this, but on his log sheet, he's starting to write equations and just various symbols, and he's not really even noticing that he's doing this, but it's something that he had heard once, but it's there, and it's a very nervous thing that he's doing with that.
Awesome. Yeah, so you call out to the other members in the plane, you'll get a response from I mean it's so rote theoretically, unless one of them doesn't want to respond, you'll get a response from everyone in the plane except for the bombardier.
Okay.
Who, in Daniel's estimation, which of the crew are the most hardened against horrors of war?
In Daniel's estimation, give me a command roll.
Okay.
I'm guessing the bombardier is Jaden, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 51 over 70. So if you were to say assess each of his crew on a 100th, percentile scale regarding their ability to withstand things, so
such a random scale.
Yeah. He's a mathematical thinker. So whoever can best weather it, he'll sort of as much as you can have a quiet word in an earpiece that everyone shares,
Mhm.
he says, would you go check on the bombardier, please?
Of the people, Liam is probably the most stable, but Liam seems very occupied right now. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody else,
You're assuming a lot there, Carl.
Yeah. Well, we'll just pick Arthur then.
okay,
Oh, thanks.
Poor Arthur.
okay, yeah. So Arthur, if you would like to, you can move into the nose cone.
Yep, I'll move forward.
You have to squeeze past Liam, turn slightly to the side to avoid burning your leg on the only heater on the airplane. And you can make your way down. The bombardier Jaden is still like gripping the bomb site and like looking down long past when he should have turned off the bomb array and taken up some of his secondary duties.
Okay. I know it's sort of a front entry, and you kind of have to, poke yourself down in there a little bit. Can I reach out and like sort of grab his leg and check it from the entry, or would I need to get in there?
You'd have to like to move him effectively. You'd have to kind of get in there and sort of slide up next to him.
All right. Well, then I guess it's Arthur's kind of a big boy, so he's gonna squeeze his way in there.
Okay.
Here's some grunting that certainly as he does that.
You can do that. And you'll be able to flip him over. Go ahead and give me a first aid check.
Yeah. You know what? I will actually spend. That's 34, but I will spend the 4 to make it a regular success.
Okay. You approach him very carefully, and as you do so, you realize that like he's still alive, but they lost a lot of blood. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to you because it doesn't seem there's like the compartment isn't like bloody or anything like that. Until you take a small look around the bomb site, and you can see just a thin ring of blood around his eye. Still, it's like suctioned to the bomb site with negative pressure.
Ooh. Okay.
Going on record as saying ew.
That is fair.
I imagine I'm assuming I probably grabbed the first aid kit that I was.
Yeah.
This is my secondary duty, so one of them. So I will suction on there. All right, we're gonna try and clear that off and
okay.
Beat him up and try and start stabilizing any kind of massive bleeding.
Okay. You made the first aid roll, so you'll be able to do so. And you have the kit. You're going to use most of the supplies in the kit because as you turn him over, you can hear an audible pop. His eye is missing, and there's been a lot of blood. You can see the blood basically has siphoned out into the bomb site and was probably he was slowly bleeding out due to the negative air pressure. It seems like a small piece of shrapnel from the flak shattered the bomb site just after he dropped the bombs.
Oh man.
You're going to use up most of the supplies in the first aid kit, but you are going to stabilize him. Okay. He's going to need a hospital within the next like half a day or so. But seems like you got to him just in time.
Okay. Hooray. What a description, Carl.
Thank you. I don't know if that was a compliment, but I'm taking it as such.
Yeah. Should I roll the sanity check now for that description?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's a fail. 62 over 39.
Okay. 3.
All righty. Yeah, again, even at that point, even subconsciously, Arthur is probably, I mean, his hand's probably covered in blood and gore a little bit and everything like that. And he's
Yeah.
just sort of falling backwards, panting a little bit and trying to steady himself on the side of the bomber. And at the same time, he's drawing numbers and marking and some sort of symbols and mathematical equation of some sort on the wall.
Okay.
And to try and shout back up towards Daniel that, sir, we're going to need to get to a hospital quickly. Jaden's been badly injured.
All right. Thank you.
Daniel, you're sort of like getting the lay of the land, and you realize like you're kind of in dark clouds. Would Daniel go up or would Daniel go down to kind of reconnoiter and try and regain his bearings?
So for navigation purposes, I want to get under the clouds
Okay.
so I can try to pick up some of the landmarks.
Okay, cool. You can go ahead and give me a navigate roll.
Okay.
You can actually do that with an extra 10%.
Oh, okay. Well, I rolled a 9 without the
Oh,
10%, so that's good.
okay.
Yeah. Navigate was 35, so I needed it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a
So
dead on balls accurate navigation is what that is.
it is. So you drop down beneath the cloud layer, and as you're doing so, you realize the clouds are like dark black, and they're almost like flying through smoke clouds, except they have the quality of normal clouds, other than absorbing more sound than they seem to need. You dip down beneath them, and you realize that navigating is going to be a little bit more difficult because beneath you, you can see a rocky, blasted landscape that doesn't match anything you've seen overflying Eastern Europe. There's basically it's almost a desiccated landscape. There's cracks in the ground. There's holes and plateaus anywhere from a couple dozen feet wide to like hundreds of feet wide. And there seem to be odd multi-hued crystalline trees growing up out of these cracks and crevices. You're kind of stunned for a few moments as you're looking around. The other thing that pops out to your attention, because you're checking navigational properties, is you've passed the PNR, a point of no return. It's the point at which you need to turn around and head back for your home base to make it with your current fuel load.
Okay.
In fact, you passed the PNR apparently a little while ago. You're at about a third of your tank, whereas you thought you were probably more like half or a little bit above.
Okay, yeah, I mean, definitely coming out, recognizing that he doesn't know where he is. Absolutely, his first almost unconscious move is going to be to look at the fuel gauge and do that calculation. So that's 100% correct. He's going to go back up.
Okay.
Thinking being, we've got a lot to deal with, and if nobody else has looked down yet, maybe they don't need to right now.
Okay.
So he's gonna retreat to the blinders of the cloud.
Okay. So you're gonna head back up in there. Jack, as you're
Yes.
you can see that the plane went down, dipped below the clouds, and now you're being taken back up. Up to you if you think of anything of it. The other two are definitely too busy doing their stuff to notice.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
go ahead.
No. Jack will definitely think something is up because, like, what is he doing? Like, who is he trying to look for here? Like is it a landmark or what? So, would Jack have had a chance to get a glimpse of this decimated landscape, or is it a bit too quick?
It's a little bit too well, it might be a little bit too quick, but you want to just give me a luck roll. We'll see if you manage to see it.
Yeah. Was I looking down? Let's see. Yeah, mostly with a 46 under 50. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you didn't see it as clearly as Daniel did, but you saw a glimpse of something that was just not. Maybe you were overflying an old battlefield or something like that, but that didn't. You definitely caught odd glints off of those trees below, and you again, like, you're not much of a navigator or a pilot, but you've seen enough of Western and Eastern Europe from the air to know that didn't look like anything like it.
Lloyd, you've pulled up again. Where the hell are we?
And the pause goes on like a half second longer than it should. Blown a bit off course. Just riding the thermals to save a bit of the fuel. We'll have it figured out shortly.
But there's hardly any landmarks. What do we use?
That's a good question. So Evan's knowledge of being a pilot is failing.
Okay.
What is a rational next step here for someone who has yet to fail a relevance hand roll?
So, after checking on most British bomber missions during the war were flown at night. So in addition to being to using traditional land-based navigation, almost every navigator on board was and every pilot was trained to be able to look up and navigate via the stars. So
yes.
if land navigation is failing you, like, that's the thing that they tell you. If you can't see any landmarks below, check the stars, because the stars aren't going to lead you wrong.
Okay. So as that which he clearly knew all along, and so we'll just pretend this is a smooth thing that he's saying. No, he says just going up to check the stars. Then the stars will be right, no doubt.
Tee that up for me, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Jack just sort of does a little sort of, okay, seems legit, and is checking up. Okay, hopefully there's some stars. Although I bet you're about to tell me that there's no stars at all, or something else.
Well, so you guys are heading up, and you, Jack, as you enter the clouds, you could hear. Actually, let's see. Jack, can you give me a listen roll?
I can certainly try and give a listen roll, but my listen is not nearly as good as my spot hidden, let's put it like that. So yeah, that's a fail, and I don't really want to spend that much luck on it. Do I push? I mean, it's 25%, so probability-wise, it's not going to be very good, but yeah, why not?
You can use a different skill. Push for something else. Always push. Always.
I'm going to listen with my eyes. No. I think that Jack will remove his radio.
Okay.
And see if, because obviously there's the whole issue with ambient sound just not being there. So he's hoping if he takes off the radio and the headphones, then he'll be able to tune his hearing a bit better. The ring in his ears is dying down a bit now, so he's gonna do that. So he's not gonna be able to do anything anybody says, but hopefully we're perfectly safe, and I'll be able to hear the thing. No problem. Oh, actually, yes, I was right. So I rolled a hard success on my listen.
Nice. You are able, like, you're taking a look around, you're having this conversation with Liam, and you're just, it's a little overwhelming. So you take your your radio gear off to get a little bit more centered, and you can hear from inside the aircraft, actually inside the tail gunner position, you could hear Deepak yelling briefly in surprise in Hindi right before it gets abruptly cut off.
Okay. I immediately go back on the radio and say, Deepak, everything all right?
No response.
Repeat again. Deepak, do you read?
No response.
Okay, in that case, I kind of do a bit of a cascade out to the rest of the crew. No response from Deepak. Who's closest to him? Can someone check?
That who be you?
That would be me. Okay. But what he'll say is something more like, "Fine, I'll go." And he's climbing out of this little tiny, incredibly cramped position. So he's trying his best, but he's not very mobile at this moment in time. But yeah, he's going to lower himself into the main part of the aircraft and start making his way back towards the tail end.
Okay. So you start picking your way back again. Not very far to get back there. It's maybe 10 feet or so. But it's dark enough in the aircraft that you don't notice this until you're almost there. The inside of the windows, the rear turret on this was actually a hydraulic ball turret that could rotate 360 degrees. When mounted in the rear position, it would basically close and there'd be glass windows looking back. Those windows are covered in blood.
Okay. I'm assuming that there's a hatch that's fairly easily accessible, in which case I'll try and break it open or open it if it's
There's a small crowbar nearby for just that purpose.
Cool. Okay, yeah. Yoink the crowbar and don't waste any time getting it open. But Jack is fairly certain that there's not going to be much left to salvage with that much blood.
So you crack it open, and you can. It takes you a little bit of muscle power, but it's not a particularly secure door, and you can definitely put your weight into it. It cracks open, and you have to brace yourself against the sudden rush of wind. The whole it looks like something, or it looks like from your point of reference, it looks like you took a flak hit and it just took out the entire turret, but like the metal on the edge of it is like rent and scraped by almost what looks like a wild animal. Make me a spot hidden roll.
Okay. I bet the lower I get, the higher the sanity roll loss. Okay, that is a fail. But it's only 10 above, so I am going to spend the luck to make it a regular.
Okay, nice. You can see just barely out in the distance beyond, like there's you can't tell if there's a flash of light or if your eyes are acclimatizing to how dark it is back here, but in the distance, maybe 20 or 30 feet beyond the plane, you can see the remnants of the ball turret falling away. And you can see Deepak like almost lovingly being held by something. Production, if you would flash creature A, and if you guys are watching, you can take a look at the first picture. It is about a 12-foot tall, faceless humanoid that seems to be just lovingly holding Deepak and almost rocking back and forth as it kind of falls away into the distance. I need a sanity check, please. Jack.
Excellent. Excellent. That is a fail. Do your worst.
All right. 4.
4. Okay. Okay. So I think with that, with this gaping hole and the wind rushing through, and just how cold all the like metal framework is and so on that Jack is trying to hold on to, he almost lets go in shock and because of all the sweat coming off him, and he tries to cry out to Deepak, but he just has no voice. It's just completely scratchy and has nothing behind it. And his next thought is to try and reach for a radio, but of course it's with Deepak, presumably, or maybe it's out of the plane. So his eyes are just wandering around, trying desperately not to look at this massive flying creature and just trying to avert his gaze as much as he can.
Okay. Yeah, and like I said, you guys are still going up, and it seems to be like holding rough position. So it sort of recedes into the distance very quickly. Seems like it got what it came for, whatever that was.
So when Jack cracks open this hatch, obviously because what's underneath is no longer underneath, the shifting, I'm guessing there would be a shift of air pressure and whatnot. So this would be very, very obvious that something has there's an opening somewhere on the
Yeah.
plane.
Yeah, as he did that, you all like the pressure alarms would have actually started going off.
Liam probably would instantly be on alert for this, going, Jack, Donovan, what the hell is going on back there? Donovan.
So just to double check, the radio is just in the dorsal turret, right? I can't take it with me. It's not like a portable radio system, is it?
No, it is portable. So
oh, it is portable. Okay.
You have to plug into areas on the ship. It's kind of like a on the plane. But yeah, you plug into different areas, and there's a spot in the mid spar that's not the tail gunner or the mid gunner that you can plug into.
Okay. So maybe for a minute you hear nothing because Donovan's just not really registering that you're in his ear. He's far too busy just trying to take everything in around him. But he does eventually snap back out of it, fumbles his way back to a port to plug in his radio. Liam, you're not going to believe this. The entire rear turret, it's gone. It's gone, and so has Deepak. He's gone, and this I don't know how to describe it. This massive bird creature thing. It had it in his arms. It's gone with it. It's all gone into the clouds. And
What? Donovan, what do you say again? Bird? What the? What? They shot it out?
I don't know. Unknown, large, very large specimen of bird-like qualities. Is that better?
Cook, you getting this?
I'm certainly hearing it, but I don't see anything up here on like that.
We got to make sure that hatch is secure. If we don't, we're going to lose pressure if we don't.
Right. I'm going to need help to resecure it. I found the whole thing covered in blood. Deepak was decimated in there, and I need to resecure the hatch on to get it, like you said, no pressure.
Yeah, give me I'll be right there. I'll help. And Liam will kind of disentangle myself from and kind of scooch my way back towards to make sure I can get the hatch secured properly so that we're not going to lose a whole bunch of pressure and whatnot.
Okay. You can make your way back there. You'll see what Jack sees. The rear has been basically torn open. You can still close it, but
Okay.
the whole ball turret is missing.
Right.
And based on that, like there might be damage to the tail, to any of the rudders and stabilizers in there as well.
So let's say mechanical repair, just to get a quick assessment of what we're looking at based on experience, and then how to best seal that hatch so it will keep pressure from dropping.
Sure.
Because I like breathing for the moment. That may change. I'm not saying it won't, but that is an 18. So
Nice.
I'm gonna spend 3 points and make that an extreme. That is, I'm gonna do my finest work.
Nice. So you were just basically taking an assessment, and
Assessment, and then just getting that hatch down and sealed as securely as I can.
gotcha. So you can assess, from what you can see, you'll be able to run fairly well for a while, but you're in, like, from your position and where you are, you're in, like, you should land as soon as possible and assess the damage from the
Okay.
outside.
Right.
It is, you could probably keep going. Like, the pilot isn't reporting any particular issues right now. That doesn't mean there isn't hidden damage. And you can also seal up the doors very easily.
And I'm guessing I don't happen to notice any kind of other planes or bird-like creatures or anything.
Nope.
Okay. All right. I can get this temporarily. I can slap a Band-Aid on it, but we're going to need to land sometime soon. This isn't going to hold for very long, but it'll hold for now. And I go about getting that done.
Okay. All that takes place, and while Daniel, you're climbing through the clouds, and you'll come out above the cloud layer. You'll hear from behind you the navigator audibly gasp, and I'm not even going to make you make another navigate roll, because as far as you know, there aren't two moons in the sky. Also, the stars are all in the wrong place. They're beautiful. There's no light pollution or anything like that around here, but they're just in the wrong place. You don't see any constellations you recognize. There's a pair of moons. One looks similar to yours, but again, like, the patterning on it is completely different. The other one is small, reddish, and oblong, and seems to be orbiting the other one.
Okay. So Daniel's gonna be, as we're coming out through the clouds, he's kind of heard what's gone on in the back, and he's trying to be reassuring. He says, good job to Liam for getting that done. and sort of reassuring Donovan a little bit. So never mind. And then mid word, gets through the clouds and breaks his cardinal rule, which is don't show how freaked out you are in front of the crew, and just goes, bloody fucking hell. And then tries to cough it off, and if there's time before the sand roll, says, Navigator, bend your ear for a moment.
Yes, Captain.
What do you make of that?
Since the navigator is alive and well, comparatively, I will let you roll his navigate score. So he's a 75% for navigate.
And that's a 34. So we will know exactly how
Okay.
fucked we are.
He takes a couple of minutes. You can hear the scratching of a pencil, some muffled curses, and a bunch of other things. And you'll actually, after a couple minutes, he will show up at your shoulder, with the radio gear having been pulled down.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll say, Captain, based upon these, we're not anywhere that I recognize. If those stars out there are correct, we are on an entirely different planet.
And Daniel sort of doesn't hear him. He says, right, but consider atmospheric effects. Maybe there's a refraction going on.
No, Captain, you haven't heard me. We're on a different planet.
No. And he gets a little. I hear you, but listen to what you're saying. I don't believe that this airframe is rated for interplanetary travel.
Well, none is.
Right.
You're talking science fiction, and yet.
Right. So try that again, if you would, please. Not to call your profession into question, but try it bloody again.
He rolled he rolled a hard success, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me try again. Based on the position of these stars, there are several that I recognize: Betelgeuse, Alpha Centauri, and he'll list a couple others.
Right. With you there.
Okay. Betelgeuse at this time of year should be there. And he'll point out, it is there. Which means if it is in fact in that position, and that is Betelgeuse, and these other stars are correct, we are on a planet approximately 250 light years from our solar system. Also, those are 2 moons.
Well. How much fuel have we got?
Right now, about a quarter tank.
Maybe not enough then.
By this point, I think Arthur, you can have overheard this conversation, even though he took the stuff off.
I admire your discretion, Carl, in holding off the sand roll here while we're processing, because this is going to be a mother.
Yep.
Yeah. I would imagine Arthur is probably, I'm heading back to the radio. And at this point, I'm turning dials. I'm starting to try and see if I can pick up anything, any frequencies, R's, German, anything. Just madly scrambling through, trying to find and hear something.
Give me a radio operation roll.
And that will be a 52 under 75.
Okay. You don't get anything initially. You scan through basically every combination you know. You don't reach there's no British squadrons, no American squadrons. You even try some German frequencies, just to hear a familiar thing. The only thing that you get is tiny snippets of an Axis Sally broadcast. And as you continue farther forward, even those, like the interference on those starts to increase. Do you know what an Axis Sally was?
I do.
Okay. Does everybody else?
Is that like Tokyo Rose?
Very similar. Yeah.
Okay.
They basically were German propaganda broadcasts that they would constantly pump out there so that they would be picked up on American and British radios. In fact, one of the most famous, called Berlin, I think Berlin Sally, was literally an actress from Ohio. But yeah, they were propaganda broadcasts, basically doing the whole like, yeah, stop fighting, it's fine, everything's cool. And you're getting snippets of that, but it's fading as you fly forward. Yeah.
So we get some sort of radio, but I'm losing it. We're getting out of range of it.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, where are we?
Well, we're gonna figure that out. You say we're going out of range of the radio.
We're losing range. The interference is increasing.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull around and say, remember your mathematics. We're going to triangulate, and we're going to try to follow the radio back to see if it gets stronger at any particular point.
Okay. Yeah,
actually did that once. Had the instruments go out on a night flight and had to follow the listen to a swing band in Birmingham all night until we got back.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, so you're going to be able to do that. Yeah, it'll take a little bit, but you'll be able to triangulate. You'll be able to basically retrace your steps and tell what direction you need to fly in as it gets stronger. And based on, because you rolled well with the radio operation, based on the rate at which it's increasing, you'd have to go maybe about 50 miles from where you are right now till it would be like full strength.
Okay.
Which is right about the time the fuel alarm comes on.
Can we make it that far on the fuel we have?
Maybe, if everything is okay with the plane.
Okay.
But if you make it back there, you're a glider over German airspace.
Sure. But, in some sense, German airspace may be preferable to, is this even airspace, technically speaking?
That is very true.
But I'm going to have a quiet conversation with Liam and just kind of give the parameters and say, Daniel doesn't ask for what should we do, but he asks for, does this work? Is it reasonable to try to hit that point of maximum signal? Or, does it make more sense to try to put her down before then and hoof it?
A couple of quick calculations in my head, taking out my little notebook and scratching out a couple of things. And well, we could potentially make it back to German airspace. But we'd be flying in an iron paperweight at that point.
There is also the possibility you could dump weight.
Or we could try to remove some ballast from internally. The lighter we are, the less fuel we use. But we're not going to last long one way or the other. We need to make a decision, and fast.
Okay.
Or else it's not going to matter one way or the other.
Well, yeah, and the ground looks really rough. I mean, I'm not expecting an airstrip, right? But there's nothing that suggests it would be easy and comfortable to get down.
Not particularly, but there you do
Oh,
see
okay.
plateaus that are large enough to land on. But then again, you're like you said, you're not necessarily sure how you would get back off the ground again.
Right. Right. Yeah. So it seems clear that we've got to go for it. The lightening the load is excellent. So
What's our status currently, Carl, with the bombs? I know we didn't drop. I don't think we dropped our full complement.
So you would have dropped your full complement.
Oh, okay, we did.
Yeah, in
Darn.
many cases. Well, hang on, because in most cases they would. But why are you asking? Let me figure that out first.
First of all, the bombs would probably be some of the heaviest equipment on the plane. So if we needed to drop anything, that would be the easiest. We just take a guess and just unload. That would easily take several hundred pounds off of our current weight. And it wouldn't require anybody to be getting up and moving around, throwing things out of basically the hangar bay doors. So if we dropped our full complement before we hit this airspace, that means that somebody's probably gonna have to go back and start pulling stuff out and just tossing it, tossing it out. So now we're taking, so we're taking that into account. There's probably outside of if I remember correctly, bombers were made to be very lightweight so they could carry as much explosive matter as possible. So once those bombs were in the fuel was calculated for, you get to that point, you drop those bombs, and then you have enough fuel to basically just about get back. If I remember correctly, because they'd want to stay as light as possible to keep as many bombs. So the fuel was very, very specifically calculated and loaded up on those planes. So if we have dropped our full complement, we had enough fuel to hit the target, turn almost immediately around, and head back to where we had to be, which means at this point we have now way overshot in the direction not to home. So we're already going to be hurting for fuel, and we're not going to make it back. So Liam, knowing all of this, and is probably calculating in his head very quickly a list of any potential items that could be thrown out. But now we're talking parachutes and tools and basically any kind of dead weight, which there really probably isn't much of, because the planes are stripped down a lot.
There are like seats and stuff like that. You could throw out equipment. But yeah, so, okay. The reason I ask is because that is a very good estimate. The typical bomb load was 500 pound bombs for up to 14,000 pounds. But some of the bombers were modified to be able to carry up to 22,000 pounds of bombs, and they would have double triggers. So give me a luck roll. If you pass it, you'll have about 4,000 pounds worth of bombs that you could drop.
So my luck happens to be at 50 right now.
All right.
So it really is a 50-50 shot.
If you would like to spend 25 luck, I will let it just happen.
You temptress, you. No, we're gonna roll. We're gonna see what happens. It's a 50-50 chance, literally.
Okay.
And I probably should have taken you up on that offer, because that is a 57 over 50. So so close, so close. Can I spend luck to get my luck? No, I know I can't. So
you can't. but I'll let
Right.
them spend double what you need
Oh.
to get down to 50. So if you three can spend 14 points of luck between you.
I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I
No,
thought
I've
you were
got.
gonna say
love this
something
so
like
much. This is my favorite house
89
rule
or
ever.
something.
Jack,
It
do you
is
wanna
now
do you want to spend
very
7
much
and I'll spend 7?
Yeah, sure
All
thing.
right, fair enough.
This just
That-
became a true team effort, everybody.
Good job.
Hell
Good job.
That
yeah.
takes me to a very good luck number, 69.
Nice.
Oh, I see. I
Nice.
see. There was an alternate. There was
It's
a
just
reason.
It's just a little bonus.
Ulterior motive. Ulterior.
Little
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I
something.
might
No.
be the group luck score now at 33.
Nice.
I'm at 30. I'm a lightning rod.
Oh, okay. I
Um,
see my competition here.
Just do not talk to me about sand and we're fine.
yeah, you have. So, okay.
Know
You,
what you're
you,
talking about. I got plenty of that. for the
you do, in
moment.
fact, have several thousand pounds of bombs left that you can let go of.
Okay.
Very easy. You just have to trigger the secondary drops and they'll drop away.
Okay.
That'll lighten things up very much. However, this is the moment at which everything is going to sink in for you, like for everybody. So I need a sanity roll to deal with the fact that you're on a different planet.
I mean, look, we're a flight crew. That's part of the job, right? It's a minor inconvenience.
Yep, that's a fail, surprisingly.
I'm coping.
You're
Rolled 30 under 52.
Nice.
Ooh, that is a
30.
27 under 54.
Okay.
39 over 36.
Oh, okay.
And
So Arthur, you are going to take 5.
oh,
And
ouch.
Jack, you're going to take 1. You've apparently been traumatized enough right now.
All right. Well, that's a 5 in one shot. We're looking for some temporary insanity out of Arthur on that one.
Yep.
Can we say bouts of madness, everybody?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can.
Yes.
Bouts
Bouts
of
of madness.
And Arthur is perilously close to that 20%.
Yes.
Whipple.
You're within tickling distance, aren't you?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So, okay.
We're
And
kidding because we know we're gonna die. Okay.
Mhm.
and Evan succeeded. Okay, so you see, and Liam, you succeeded, right?
Oh yes. Yeah, that is
Okay.
a 27 under 50 under 54. So
Okay.
absolutely.
Let's see.
I'm embracing the horrors quite well. Just like, oh, different planet. Yeah, sure. What about those bombs?
Arthur, I will offer you a devil's bargain here. You can ignore the sanity loss that you just took
Mhm.
if you are willing to get rid of the heaviest thing you can think of on the aircraft.
The heaviest thing I could think of at this point would probably be guns and ammunition. Those would be the next pieces of dead weight. But
No, more of
No.
a desperation option.
oh, wait a minute. Well, I mean, he may not survive anyway, right?
He may not. He's probably close to 200 pounds with all of his gear.
I can't do anything for him. He's probably not too well right now anyway. I mean, he seems stable, but I mean, he's got a parachute too. He should be fine.
Yeah.
So if I pull the parachute cord and tuck it under his arm, give him a little nudge, he should be okay.
Yeah, he should be fine.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
He'll be okay.
He'll be fine. Let's see. Daniel,
I'll
you're
probably, take his cap from him after that and make sure it's okay and keep it as a keepsake. But I'll give our bombardier a little nudge.
okay. Jack, go ahead and give me
Yes.
a spot hidden roll. You're having
Oh,
a
God.
moment.
I bet I'm having many moments. Oh my god, that is a 2.
You
I
so
see everything, Cook.
so yeah,
You're gonna be hanged.
you're like you're dealing with your own stuff, but you sort of return to your position. You know that Liam is now busy going through the aircraft. It's only a war crime if you do it to another country. It's just a crime.
Yeah.
um, you're dragging like Liam is basically going through the aircraft, offloading as much weight as he can. Um, you you look down and you realize Arthur's about halfway back to Deepak's old position, with Jaden kind of like carrying him, and he's got a parachute on, and Arthur keeps muttering, "You'll be okay. You'll be okay. You'll be okay."
It's all right, old boy. You've done your job. You'll be fine.
Cook, what are you doing?
That
He'll be fine.
Cook, what the fuck?
He'll be fine. He's going
Cook?
to be okay.
Yeah, we will get him back.
No, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Cook?
I actually will push against Cook just to kind of like bat some sense back into him.
Okay. They're just kind of shaking him to try and get him to.
Shake him, but also stop him from getting any closer to letting him slip, as it were.
Okay. Give me a strength check.
I imagine I'm gonna be the loser in this if it's
Ooh.
opposed,
I don't know.
but I'm going to try. Oh, okay. I got a hard success.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Arthur, if you'd like to fight him on that, I would need a strength check from you as well.
I mean, yeah, we'll fight him, but again, I'm not going to see this one. Yep, nope, that's a fail. So,
Okay.
70 over 40.
Okay, yeah, you can pull Jaden out of Cook's arms with a little bit of a back and forth. What does this look like? What are you guys saying to each other as this happens?
I'm probably just saying, we'll need the fuel. He'll be fine. He'll be okay. We'll need the fuel.
How could you do such a thing? He's a person. He's not an object. We can't possibly. He still has life in him.
Jack, we're all expendable. We know that. We knew that when we signed up. None of us
He
may come
still
back
has
at
a
any time.
purpose in this aircraft. If we can get him
He served
stabilized,
his purpose. He's done his job. We dropped the bombs. We've done it. He'll be fine. Jack, the rest of us, we could make it back.
and
Jack, please.
there's a little bit of a second thought that crosses Jack's mind, that you can see in his eye. Given his past, he's done quite a lot of wayward things in his time. A lot of things that are very self-serving. And Cook is going through his reasonings, and Jack is struggling to find any other reason, given how desperate the situation is becoming. But Jack does stay steadfast, morally speaking, for now, and says, "We will not abandon any crew to what is down there."
We don't know what there is. He may be fine. He should be fine.
We're thousands of feet up in the fucking air.
That's why he's got a parachute, Jack.
He is unconscious, right? By the way, Carl.
Yeah.
We'll pull the cord. We'll tuck the parachute under his arm. It'll open. It'll be fine.
Okay, so I'm gonna actually push past Cook at this point. I don't listen to him further. I'm gonna try and get him towards the main cockpit.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know how the radio's situated. Like, am I? I mean, I'm engaged with the navigator. We're trying to work this out, right? Am I
Yeah.
hearing any of this, or am I oblivious to this?
Neither one of them said they took their radio off, so there you might be getting snippets of it between the two of them.
Okay. So right. So if that's enough to be aware, when it seems like Jack has sort of the upper hand, um, then I'm just going to use my like ice cold, deadly British aristocrat voice, and just say, Officer Cook, retire to the bunk, please.
Ooh, give me a command roll.
Yeah, get commanded, bitch. Let's do it. 83. Damn. Oh, just when you need it most. Then you just
My
look
sense of
silly when you say it and
mutiny.
it doesn't work. I have
You
kids.
can push.
You want to push that roll? Yeah.
You can push or use
the
luck.
roll.
Yeah, nobody's dead yet. Let's keep pushing. All right. Going for it again. 46 on a 70.
There
All
you
right.
go.
Be
Okay.
told.
Arthur, something about your commanding officer's tone is both calming and reassuring at the same time, and it
Mhm.
manages to snap you out of it. So how do you react to what you just tried to do?
Okay. It's very, very much sort of a cold water in the face kind of thing. Shock recognition. Oh my God. God. Sorry. I'm sorry. I lost my head. I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry. We can lay Jaden out on the bunk. It'd be better for him to rest there anyway. I can keep an eye on him. It's right behind me.
Yep. Okay. You can.
I was just saying, then I'll get back on the radio and say, Jack and Liam, if you would, please see to the lightning of the plane. Please keep anything we might need for a long stay in a German chateau.
I believe we have no schnapps left, sir.
Well, I'm sure they'll provide it.
At this point, we need to secure everything, and we need to get these bombs off of here. That will lighten everything. It's a good start.
Yeah, very good.
Yep. Bombs, the ammunition, if you want to offload that, depends on how much you want to keep on board. If you want to keep any defensive capabilities on board, if you don't, you can dump the guns themselves. There's a couple 100 pounds right there. There's a flare gun. There's a hatchet. There's a couple of mechanical repair kits situated throughout the plane. You were correct. They built them as light as possible, but you can take the only piece of armor on the aircraft, which is a little 2 by 2 foot square right behind Evan's head. If you want to take that, that's 8 to 10 pounds, depending.
Jack is very against letting loose any of the gunnery, given what he saw earlier.
That's fair. That's probably a fair
That thing I saw, Liam, there could be hundreds of them for all we know. I do not want to get rid of any guns.
Look, I don't know what you saw, but at this point, if we're going to have remotely enough fuel to get home, we are going to have to dump everything that we possibly can. And we have to do it now.
Then we do the bombs. We do anything heavy. Just please, for me, Liam, please don't take the guns.
We could lose
Lloyd?
V-Bucks. We could lose the rear guns. Unless somebody else is going to man them.
Well, you already did lose the rear guns.
Yeah, so we're already down that. We could lose the
What do you say,
ammunition from the
Lloyd?
rear guns.
Need a decision. Commander.
Lloyd, any orders from you?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you put it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's only barely heard the rumbling of the creature talk and has not really followed all that. So he's just kind of brushing that off. He's like, no, the guns as well.
Lloyd,
You heard it.
we'll be doomed if we do.
We'll be doomed
And
if we don't.
Jack,
Would we rather go down with the plane?
we are facing more than one kind of doom. I am sympathetic, but we'll have to trust that a plane's main function is to fly, and that is what we shall do. When in doubt, go up.
Look,
The guns, please, Liam.
I don't know what's
Very well, sir.
I don't know what you saw, but I know that what will happen if this bird goes out of the sky. If we run out of fuel, it's not going to matter. So secure yourselves, strap yourselves in. We are taking this out. And I start making all the adjustments for a second. That's the thing. We don't really have a bomber. We're gonna have to do this by sight because our bomber is gone.
Well,
Yeah,
he's in
we had
the
to
he's in the bunk
unstick him.
now, rather than gone, but
Yeah.
he's out.
Bombardier's injured, and we still have a navigator. Our rear gunner is gone. You could have.
We need to get
pounds,
at least.
No, you had to be noble.
All right, we're gonna have to do this by eyesight. Someone needs to get down to the bombing. See what they can see.
Yep.
All right, I can have a go.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So you guys are going to spend a couple of minutes. You're going to dump the ammo, the weapons, basically anything that's not nailed down. Jack, how squirrely are you? Do you want to try and keep a weapon somewhere?
Good question. I mean, the
Actually,
thing
for
is
that matter, does
huge.
anybody want that?
It's not something that Arthur has in his position, but he's probably actually, I mean, the flare gun is behind him and the flares are just to his left. I mean, he's probably going to keep the flare gun and at least 1 or 2 flares because we're going to want to be able to try, and if we're going to be rescued, we're going to need something for that. And so I might chuck some of the flares, but I want to keep the flare gun and at least 2 flares.
Okay.
Yeah, I think handguns are fine. I believe at least 1 or 2 of us carry those. So, something like that. It's okay.
Fun fact, they weren't standard issue.
Oh, really?
For British air crews.
Okay. Oh, for British,
yeah.
That's
However,
what you get, Brits, for not making guns part of your culture. Where are they when you
I've
need
got
them?
a lucky pocket knife, thank you. That's all you need.
However, if anybody would like to make let's see. If anybody is particularly good at a weapon, so if they have a score of like 50 or above, if you'd like to test that, you might very well have smuggled your own aboard, because it doesn't matter how loyal or rule followy you are. 5-finger discounts and the secondary market exist in every military for basically every level.
I mean, I'll make a roll. We'll see what we got.
Yeah.
I'm definitely making a roll.
Yeah, I've got a 50. I wonder if I brought the old was Webley a World War I pistol? I don't know.
Yes, it's a Webley is just like the standard sidearm.
Okay.
That
Yeah, I brought my dad's.
That's a fail
Nice.
from me.
Actually,
Okay.
a hard
Maybe I might
success
take it
on
away.
my rifle.
On your rifle. Okay. That makes sense that the former literal criminal smuggled like a full-on rifle aboard somewhere.
Oh no, the literal criminal's Jack. I'm the average.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Got a long gun smuggled inside a telescope.
So that's up to you. You can take a long gun. You can take basically anything you'd like to from a Lee Enfield on down.
I mean, I'll probably do a Lee Enfield. It's the kind of thing that would make sense.
Okay. Cool.
As
Okay,
it's
so
sort of tucked away by the rest bunk, and wrapped in
Cool.
some canvas.
Makes sense. Liam, what about you?
I think Liam would probably have some type of knife or something very simple. But other than that,
Gotcha.
Liam prefers to have a set of sharpened pencils and a pocket notebook and more than weaponry. Weaponry is not really my thing unless I'm fixing it or playing around with the gadget parts or trying to figure out
Gotcha.
some new way and better way to do it. I'm I can because I had to with my training. But really it's not my thing. So in terms of any kind of weapons, no, I'd leave it.
Okay.
I'll probably leave it to the rest of them.
Cool. And Jack, I missed if you kept anything.
Yeah, I got a fail.
You got to fail. Okay.
He's far more familiar with gunnery guns, so there's no way he could smuggle any of that. And I wondered if with a handgun, which is second best, maybe he did try and smuggle it, but had it taken away because he was caught with it.
That's fair. We can say that, I mean, there is still like the hammer, the crowbar, and a knife. So you have options for hand to hand if you should need them.
If I'm on the back of one of those things as opposed to flying next to it.
Yeah. Okay. You are able to lighten the load. You do a very good job of that. And you spent a ridiculous amount of luck to make that happen. So you think that if you can get back to your point of origin, you will have about 10 minutes. Like if you could somehow figure out how to get back to Earth, you'll have about 10 minutes of actual powered flight before you have to go glider. And at this point, you have basically almost no way of defending yourself. And you've lightened the load to the point where like the airframe is shaking in weird ways because it's not balanced properly. But it should give you just enough time.
Yeah, this does not sound right. It is setting Liam's nerves on edge, but he is trusting within that. Come on, baby, hold together. It's enough. We'll make this happen because it's the only option we have.
Okay. Let's see. Jack, you are going down into the hell yeah. You are going down into the bomb aimer site to keep an eye on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. All right. So you Daniel, anything you want to say to your crew as you're in this unprecedented situation, or is this a stiff upper lip situation?
Yeah, I think it would be considered pandering and gross sentimentality to give a an inspirational speech. But he says, channeling from centuries before, channeling Jack Aubrey. He says we've been trained. We know what to do. The circumstances are not what we might wish, but we'll do the best until we can do no more. And
Okay.
then Cook, how's that radio signal?
That was the radio signal. It is the fish finder clear.
Fish
I
finder?
think it's
yes.
That's what it called. Yeah, it's the fish
Oh
finder.
yeah.
The
Yep.
That's great.
ship radar detector.
Yep. Yeah, the fish finder is clear. Your heading in the right direction because you've heard several of these broadcasts over your time as a radio operator. They're hard to avoid, which is kind of the point of them. But you've heard the propaganda before, the lies and the twisted truths. Go ahead and give me a radio operation roll just to kind of dial in on.
All right, that is a 79, but I'm going to go ahead and spend certainly the 5 points of luck on there to make it a 74, and so it's a regular success at that point.
Okay, cool. We're doing that. Let's see. Liam, you are in the engineers. So Liam and Daniel, give me a spot hidden roll.
Listen, Carl, we're dealing with a lot here.
What do you mean?
We're busy.
I know.
Oh. I am going to spend 1 point of luck and make that a hard success.
All
That'll be
right.
13.
13. So hard success for Liam. Daniel, what did you get?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know. Was that a spot hidden?
Yes.
Okay, coming right up. That is almost certainly a fail. That's a 63 on it's not highlighted, so it's a 25.
Okay. All right. So hard success. Liam, you are able, you've turned around, you're heading back kind of where you began. You can see sort of the clouds off in the distance have a similar strobing lightning effect like they did before. You can also see gliding almost silently, actually gliding silently towards you, the creature I described before, about 12 feet tall, winged, oily, slick versus a face. And it seems to be angling for the airframe. You have not seen it yet, so I need a sanity roll.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That is a 77 over 54, so a fail.
Okay, that'll be 3 points of sanity.
And as I'm looking at this, the first thought in Liam's mind is that demon. A demon straight out of hell, straight out of the Bible, possibly probably a flashback to some of the nightmares that Liam experienced in seminary while studying and reading through those forbidden tomes that he was not supposed to be reading, that they keep in the side room out of general purpose. There is an immediate fascination and draw, less not really fear, though that pit in the chest, in the depths of the inner workings becomes there and gets cold. Liam sees this, and it's almost as if all those stories, all of that information out of those books that was so fascinating and that he became so curious about, that eventually basically scared him so much that he was becoming very drawn to it. there it is. Right there in front of him, something that actually can be seen. It's right there. So there is no terror to run away or to get away from it. It's once more. Liam,
Okay.
like, this is the embodiment of all of those, all that knowledge and everything. Like, holy, there it is. It's real. I knew it.
Okay. Nice. Go ahead and roll a. You guys have all been going through this. Each one of you can give me a D10 roll.
Oh, goody.
Six.
Okay.
7.
7.
Also 7.
7.
10.
Cool. Increase your Cthulhu mythos by that amount.
Oh, yay.
Hey.
Amazing.
Um,
22.
As your new reality sort of snaps into focus, you all have a similar moment to Liam. And you realize that at that same time, you can feel almost a metaphysical connection to one another that goes beyond, even beyond serving in a military unit, beyond anything like that. You just have almost a sixth sense about how the others are thinking and feeling. And that'll lower your maximum, not your current.
Mhm.
All right.
That's really cool, by the way, just as a meta thing, Carl. That's a cool effect.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. That's neat. I'm stealing that, is what I'm saying, for next time.
Feel free.
Yeah, it's great.
Hold on. Note that.
So this thing is coming towards you, and what would you like to do? So, Liam, you can call it out to everybody. You can try and do something about it on your own. What's your reaction?
Liam is going to unconsciously reach up for the crucifix that is around his neck underneath his flight suit, but like through the flight suit, just kind of put his hand over it so he can feel it. And verbally through the mic will say, "Dark angel, there you are."
Give me a power roll.
That is a 49 under 55.
Okay. Around there's like you can all hear this on the on the wireless, but Daniel, you sit next to Liam while you're in flight. Actually, as does Arthur. You can see him grabbing what you know is a crucifix under his shirt. As he does so, like a tracery of glowing silver light starts flowing out from him, like from his feet and into the plane itself. But you have the sense that it's not, something is happening, but it's not complete. And it needs more energy or more of Liam to complete itself.
I'm gonna reach out. I don't reach out sort of a steadying hand, and try to, I guess, repeat. You were repeating a phrase, I think, or saying a phrase.
Liam would get almost a small an odd smile on his face, and you would hear him say, "Dark angel, you've come. Dark angel, you're there. Dark angel, you are real.
Dark Angel, I am here.
Okay. So he's gonna put a hand on your shoulder and say, I suppose the parish priest would forgive a little popishness at this time, and sort of start to repeat that along with you, like out of the side of his mouth while he's flying the plane. So it's a little distracted, but he's trying to be helpful.
Okay, give me a power roll.
Okay. 55. 96. Yes. Woof. Don't make me roll.
You want to push it?
Huzzah.
Yeah, push. Yes, I do not have
Hell
enough
yes.
luck. But do I push that with power or something else?
Let's see. You can push it with intelligence idea if you want
Okay.
to.
Yeah, that's a little better. We'll try that.
Trying to think if you have science, psychology, anthropology. Nope. Okay, yeah, I think that's your best option is intelligence idea.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty well aligned with how he goes through life, is sort of trying to think through it.
Yeah.
So this is against a 65, and prepare your laughter now. That is 92. Oh yeah.
Yay.
2 failed push rolls in an evening. This was meant to be.
Okay, you lay you put your stabilizing hand on Liam. You say these things, and you do feel something flow out of you, but rather than it being reassurance or command ability, it just like raw vitality, like to the point where you put your hand on Liam and you realize that like you feel suddenly weak, and you are like several wounds have opened on your hand, and your blood is crawling along your fingers and turning into silver light where it touches Liam.
Okay.
Nice.
You take half of your health in damage.
Wow. Oh, I didn't have that much to begin with.
Oh,
Good grief.
Well, all right. I'm at 5. That's fine. I can work.
That's fine. It's all fine.
that's fine. Yeah. All hit points is 10.
Arthur and Jack, you are also aware of you like this. This is impossible to ignore at this point.
Yeah.
The light that's sort of flowing out of Arthur is now like tracing the rivets and things in the plane and making its way up. You can hear with a crunch as the creature lands on the plane, and you can hear the tearing of metal as it starts peeling back things, but it seems like there's little fingers of silver trying to wrap its way around the creature.
Okay. I was wondering, because I'm assuming that we said you said we could hear this.
Yes.
We could hear what was being said.
Mm-hmm.
Arthur's wondering if there's a way that he'll start repeating it, but broadcasting it through the radio to try and put it out and see if it can be more audible. And so like he's going to start spinning every dial and putting it as loud of a broadcast as he can on high, medium, and low frequencies. He's going to town on the radio to try and make this big and loud and audible, and see if that helps, because that's the best he can think of right now on this. Is like, this is what he does.
Very, very nice. Okay, go ahead and make for that one, make a radio operation roll. That's a very clever use of that.
All right, that is a 64, but you know what? I have a feeling like we might as well have some. Yeah, 64 is a regular versus how far would that take to get it to a hard success? Let's see. You know what? I will spend the 26 points of luck and make that a hard success.
Nice. Okay. You start alternating this and sort of blasting it across all of the different spectrums that you can access with the wireless. And you can actually even, like looking out the window, you can even see it. Now that silver light that was like crawling over the plane is now like pulsing from it almost like a heartbeat. and the silver traceries are rapidly climbing up around the creature, and they seem to be forming like almost tattoos of chains or something like that. Jack, what would you like to do? You can look up and see this now.
Yeah, I guess I'm still semi in my little cubby hole underneath a bit.
Mhm.
So it'll still take me a bit of time to get up, but there's almost this strange fascination that comes over Jack because he's seen horrible, giant, nasty things before, but that was on Earth and it was tentacles and dripping eyes, nothing like this. And he's looking at the sort of light or tendrils made of light coming off like little sort of spindly fingers, and he realizes that there's a silver lining after all, even though we have no weapons. And now finally people have seen what I was talking about. We can still use the actual plane as a weapon. So what he's going to do, if there's some sort of console near him, or if he has to get up to reach one, then so be it. But he will find the nearest console that he can place both his hands on. And similarly to what Cook was doing with broadcasting audibly, over the radio, he's going to do it by touch. So he is going to channel his energy into the plane, into the workings, the frame, everything that's left, to almost kind of well, bring the plane to life in a way, to hopefully get this damn thing away from us and so we can leave.
Okay. Give me a, let's see, we'll go with power. Unless
Yeah.
you want to suggest something else. Actually,
Well,
no, how about intelligence idea because of what you just outlined?
that's good for me because my intelligence is really high.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well, I stepped in that one, apparently.
Obviously, I say the words as well, by the way. So I didn't pass as well as I would like, but that's still a regular pass. If I spend my luck to get it to a hard, it gets rid of all my luck, so I'm not doing that. I'll
Okay.
keep with the regular, but yeah.
So this thing now peels back the lid, the top of the plane, and sort of pours itself into the compartment. And it somehow, like, you have this sense it's somehow taking up more space than is actually in the plane itself. But as it does so, you start using the plane, and those silver traceries turn into very noticeable chains wrapping around its arms, legs, waist, and neck. And they suddenly, as you start saying the words as well, they snap taut, sort of pulling it in different directions, and with not an actual screech, but sort of the mental impression of a screech, it will be torn asunder and sizzle and meld with the actual metal of the plane. And so spreading out from where it got pulled into the airframe is going to be it's going to spread out so that the metal of the airplane is going to turn into the same color and odd, almost oily iridescence as its skin. It's going to wrap around the whole plane, and you won't see this till you land, but in silver Celtic knots, it's going to take the shape of that creature on the nose. And at that moment is when you hit the cloud bank that is flashing. You pass through it. You have that same moment of intense disorientation, and then you have to shield your eyes from bright, direct sunlight. You are not where you were. You are your navigator will run some numbers, take a couple of readings. You are somewhere west of Scotland. And you can see the cliffs of Scotland in the distance. And there is a suddenly, Arthur, you're getting all sorts of different wireless signals coming in. In fact, there's one from an RAF base you didn't know was nearby that is broadcasting.
Okay.
Um,
Immediately killing all broadcasting signals and trying to revert back to standard call signs and announcing that airframe AGL Alpha leftover lost on return from night mission. Please give the location. Please announce RAF base as to location.
Okay. You'll get the location. It's far to the north in Scotland. Almost out past the border of the land. Your navigator will look confused for a moment as he says, there isn't a RAF base up here. There's no listed RAF base in here. Right about the time, Arthur, you hear, well, Alpha Leftover, you're the first one to join us. It's good to see at least somebody made it. Welcome to... You're going to have a bit of a reassignment order when you land.
Well, that's quite all right. Quite all right. Quite all right. Where are we? As I said, we were a bit lost on the way in.
She'll list the name of a town that you don't recognize. But you realize it's not that you don't recognize it, it's that your brain can't hold on to it. Like, she says it, she says a word, and you don't know what it is, and it has no meaning for you, and you can't remember what it is. And she'll respond saying, all will be explained in due time. Welcome to Squadron 666, forward occult reconnaissance. And that's where we're going to end.
Oh!
Yes. Yes. It's the coolest thing that's ever happened.
The best squadron there is.
And that, Friends of the Symphony, is where our show is going to end for tonight. Thank you very much for everyone who joined or is currently watching on the replay. You are the best part of waking up, and we sincerely appreciate you. Again, if you enjoyed this content, please consider helping the Symphony make more by backing us on Patreon at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. Let's say goodnight again to our symphonic cast. Start with Heather.
So, first of all, I think wherever we are, the reason we couldn't hold on to the name is probably because it's Welsh. So just call it Bob, and that's probably how you pronounce it. But my name is ValyGirl Heather, otherwise known as Heather Ashcraft, and this was so much fun. Thank you so much to our keeper Carl and to this incredible cast. I am a TTRPG writer, designer, live action creator, and actual play actor. So you can find me here on Symphony from time to time, as well as the Miskatonic Playhouse, where I will be on Saturday, where I will be running a lovely little Call of Cthulhu adventure called All Part of the Game, written by Doc Tracy, from many of you who follow Symphony will know. So I'll be running my very first online live stream game from there. But other than that, you can generally find me around on all the socials. I'm currently working on 2 different anthologies, including one here for the Miskatonic Repository with Evan and Rena Haynes and Doc Tracy and a couple of others. We're very much looking forward to that. And next month I will be in Madison, Wisconsin for Gamehole Con. So if you're looking to meet me in person and just sit around, talk shop, roll some dice, whatever, you can find me in Madison next month. So beyond that, I will be around on some various projects coming soon. At the end of next month, there's something very special that Jayson and I will be a part of, but I can't talk about it beyond that. But I'm very excited for the premiere. Yes, I've already been chastised for being the Tom Holland and letting things slip. So, but yeah, now I'm going to turn it over. In fact, I'm going to turn it over to Jayson. You're next.
Of course. Chastised. I'm still getting over that. Yes, so I am Jayson. So I do freelance author, editor of TTRPGs, and also all your podcasting needs, mixing, mastering, audio setup, whatever. I realized because I am very tired and have been up since 5 this morning that I did not leave a way to reach out to me. So feel free to get on the Discord. Is by far the easiest. Like Heather, I also don't have X because seriously. So I am just Jayson or at Wreathed in Flame. Like I said, I have a couple of scenarios that should hopefully be out in the next few months, provided pen not being one. Slipped my mind because I've been waiting for it for so long, but also one of my scenarios is going to be featured in the new Cthulhu by Gaslight scenario collection. So I'm super excited about that. And hopefully you will enjoy it. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yes. So yeah, feel free to hit me up for commission needs or what have you, or just say hi. I'm on Symphony fairly regularly, and just reiterating what Heather said, I'm very happy to be here tonight with all of you and Carson. A wonderful, wonderful stream tonight, and I'm sure there'll be many more in the future. Oh yeah, I should probably pass it on to somebody else now. Let's go to Matt, aka Arthur Cook.
Thank you so much, Jayson. And again, to reiterate, what an incredible cast and what a great job keepering by Carl, who's an absolute beast. And this was a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much. I'm Matt Crouch. You can find me on the Discords as Momentary NPC or Moments Pause. And as I said, on some of the older stuff, if you look around on Flickr. I'm a longtime gamer, occasional keeper. Well, not gonna say keeper, not yet, but I'm a dungeon master and run other games. Been in the hobby for quite some time and never found the incredible encouragement that you get in groups like Symphony and with what Stars Are Right did when they were doing their thing. I mean, just incredible groups of people and such a treat to be able to play with all these guys. So yeah, I'm working on, as I said, play testing my own scenario, and so we'll be hopefully seeing that soon. I show up in various odd and random places, and so you may never know where to find me. Day job takes me odd places, and I like traveling. So, what can I say? So, if you see me wandering around with a camera doing my photography thing, jump in, hit me up with anything. Occasionally do some voice acting, and so who knows? Maybe you'll be seeing or hearing me down the road some places. It shows up in odd places. That's all I can say. But I thank you so much. What a wonderful time and great job, keeper Carl. And I will pass this to Evan.
Thank you. It's a pleasure serving with you, an honor to serve with you, fellow crew members. Fantastic. Carl absolutely knocked it out of the park and into the neighboring park. This must absolutely be the intro scenario for your forthcoming 666 Squadron campaign, which I would be delighted to play as much of it as you wish to release. I am Evan Perlman. I do a lot of writing for the Miskatonic Repository. I like writing with other people, helping them get their ideas out and published. You can find me on Discord. You can find me on Blue Sky. You can find me on Facebook, or you can find me by waiting for a really thick fog, standing up on a hill somewhere, waving a flare and just kind of hanging out there until you hear the sound of propellers. And then I will arrive with a whisper of parachutes after that. Thank you all very much.
And thank you very much, everybody. That's very kind of you to say. But I had a great cast today. I hope you guys all enjoyed yourselves. And I hope everybody watching enjoyed. Again, I'm Carl. I can be found mostly on Symphony. But we hope you've enjoyed the Symphony, and we look forward to seeing you again. We have a wonderful night. Bye.